What's up, nail geeks? Today I have Emily DeMolly's December releases to share with you guys today. Per usual, there are fantastic buttery formulas ahead and some super amazing colors here. So let's get started. First up, we have Save Your Boredom. This is described as a pale purple base with copper to gold to green and blue shifting aurora shimmer. So, if you were a big fan last month of Sea of Lies, which you should be because that color was amazing, I would describe this as the sibling polish to it. Now, if you're curious as to the differences, I would say Save Your Boredom is definitely this dusky lavender type base. It shifts just as easily as Sea of Lies, but it is different in the base color and the shift. So here you've got this amazing shifting pigment in here. I'm blown away again, and I highly recommend, if you haven't picked up Sea of Lies, add it to your order and get Save Your Boredom as well. You will not be disappointed. This one is so incredibly shifty, you guys. I cannot even. Formula feels a little bit on the light side. I think most people are going to be just fine between 2 and 3 coats. On the second coat here, I felt like I had perfect opacity and I didn't need to go any further than that. The formula is on the light side to where if you do have ridges or any noticeable damage to your nails or anything like that, you'll definitely be able to see it. So in that case, I would say you'd need to go to 3 coats. Otherwise, I think most should be fine at 2 coats. So the next polish is Silk and Denim. This is described as a rosy nude when warm to dusty purple when cold thermal, with turquoise shimmer and silver micro glitters. Per usual, as we've come to expect from Emily DeMolly's thermals, this has a nice buttery smooth formula. It does feel a little bit lighter than her normal cream style polishes, but definitely builds up to opacity very easily. Here on this first coat, I mean, you're just seeing just a touch of my smile line. On the second coat, I had full opacity and the glitters picked up very easily for me. I didn't need to fish for them or anything like that. And they laid down perfectly flat for me. After top coat, I had no texture whatsoever. The shimmer in this one is very strong, and I think it pops up really well against the cold state, which is that dusty purple. Now, the thermal properties to this were pretty sensitive. Now, since it's very cold here in the South in the States, we've had the heater going in the house, so I was stuck in the warm state. After just stepping outside for a moment and coming back in, I easily saw the transition. So I would not say that you shouldn't have any problems whatsoever seeing a shift of change on your nail. Next up, we have Chrome Buttons. This is described as a pale rose gold metallic flake polish. So a little bit of story time. When I first got into indies a few years ago, this type of finish was something that I impulse purchased, hands down, every single time. These types of flakes and this type of polish are just my favorites across the board. Now, in the past, back in those days, we used to have to sponge to be able to get a full coverage effect with this type of polish. Now, with Chrome Buttons, I'm very pleased to report that I was perfectly satisfied with the final look at 2 coats. If you're wanting to be a little bit extra, you might want to go in for that 3rd coat, but those flakes picked up easily and they laid down flat for me, and it gives you this beautiful reflective finish. If you are new to indie polishes, I highly recommend you check out this one particularly, because I just think you just need to see this type of finish in person. It's super pretty, and bonus, you don't need to sponge to get it to full opacity. Next up, we have Relaxed Fit. This is described as a light gray base with green shimmer and blue chrome flakies. This has a wonderful medium to slightly light formula. It built very easily for me. On the first coat, I just barely saw my smile line. And I do want to remind you guys, if you've been keeping up with my videos, I do have some damage to my nails right now. So I am being very cautious with how thin I go in with my application. I am going in with medium coats on all of these. So here on Relaxed Fit, even at that second coat with some damage, I didn't really see any of my imperfections, so to speak, on my nail. After top coat, my nails were smooth to the touch, no texture to report here. And overall, just very, very pretty. I mean, white curly alert, you guys. I mean, not white, but you know, it's gray. You get the picture. That shimmer is on the softer side, but it definitely shifts over to a nice, pretty pink on extreme angles. Next up, we have region specific. This is described as a bright green base with silver metallic flakes. Now this one has that super rich buttery formula during application, and it was super satisfying to apply. I think if I had shorter nails and I went just a touch heavier with my brush application, it could definitely pass off as a one coater. Now to get that really nice thick appearance that, you know, almost looks like a gel mani, you're going to want to go in with 2 coats, and it's just really nice. Like I said, very satisfying on the brush strokes here. Those flakes picked up very easily for me during application, and they laid down flat for me as well. It does dry down quite glossy, so I honestly think any top coat will be fine on this one. And there is no texture after top coat. Really, really nice color. I think this green is just super flattering. I can't really see it looking terrible on anybody, to be honest. It doesn't have that warm tone to it. It's a cool toned type green, but just bright enough to give you that extra bit of oomph on the overall finish. The next polish is one and the same. This is described as a bright orange base with golden green shimmer and blue chrome flakies. This was a surprise love for me in this collection as well. I really just, this is a bright, bright color, and the shimmer is amazing. In bright lights like what you're seeing here, it's going to come off as strong, strong gold. But in extreme angles, in shaded lighting, that shimmer is going to transform into a pinky looking color. The blue flakes picked up easily for me from the bottle and laid down nice and flat on the nail. I had no texture with this one either. And the formula feels a little bit on the medium to slightly light side, but same as the others, I don't see anyone needing to go past 2 to 3 coats. Here on the second coat, I had full opacity. I couldn't see my smile line. Everything was good to go. This is a very warmed, just bright orange and super just really nice bit of a palette cleanser almost for this time of year. I know we're seeing a lot of jewel tones and whatnot, but this was a nice little shock from the box after opening up my package. Next up, we have Seventh Seal. This is described as a very dark green base with gold holographic micro glitters and green to purple to blue multichrome magnetic effect. So if you've been watching previous videos of mine, I do like to apply magnetic polishes by starting off with a bit of a thin coat just to kind of make a foundation for what I'm going to do with the magnet. On the second coat, I tend to go in just a touch heavy-handed. I want to make sure I have enough magnetic particles to pull when I apply the magnet. And the formula on this one is very, very rich, very opaque. It applies super easy, and right here as you're seeing it before I put the magnet on, I think it looks fantastic on its own as well. I'm using an arc magnet here from Lantern and Wren, and I'm holding it there for about 45 seconds. Afterwards, it gives you this really nice background of a dark color, and then the magnetic particles will pick up a very nice light blue with an easy shift over to purple. On tilt, you're going to see both of the lines come out to play, so you'll see like this aqua looking line with a purple line right behind it. It's very, very pretty. The glitters in it are super sparkly. It gives you this dense sparkle across the entire nail, and it's almost like a galaxy. When you see the bottle in person, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's super, super shifty and very, very pretty. The magnetic particles have lots of movement to them, and I think regardless of what type of magnet you use, you'll see that movement. And finally, we have Just Your Type. This is described as a dark blue base with iridescent flakes, blue shimmer, and silver hollow micro glitters. Blue lovers and green lovers, we've had our polish made for us with this one. I positively adore this color. It is a rich, dark, but very intense blue, and it builds up super easy. On the second coat here in a second, you'll see it. First coat just kind of makes the foundation come down, and in person there are some big giant flakes to be seen here. I think the video is kind of hiding them, but there's just this beautiful mixture between the flakes and the glitters, and it's just really intense and sparkly. If you like sparkles and blingy polish, you've got to get this one. It's such a pretty color. Of course, I might be blue biased, but I definitely loved this one. Another one that I highly recommend you see in person. I think it's just beautiful. Now, I had no problems whatsoever at picking up those flakes or any of the glitters in this, and everything laid down flat for me. After top coat, I had no texture. My nails were smooth to the touch. This is just such an intense color. I feel like here on the full Manny shot, you're gonna see just what I'm talking about. It's spectacular. I adore this color. So the December releases will be launching December the 4th at 11 a.m. Australian time on the Australian website, and Monday, December 3rd at 7 p.m. Eastern time on the US and international site. I'll link both shops below, as well as my blog posts if you'd like additional written down information, so it's not just info overload as usual at the end of these videos. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.